Hey guys, we're Retro Rivals, and you're watching Captain...
Wait. I got a game I want to talk about first.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
You can't show that.
Why not? Is it
could
dirty?
get you
Hang on.
Oh my God, Scott! I don't think it's a matter of it being dirty.
I'll
that
polish it.
game will get you.
Polish it. There. And Captain said you couldn't polish a turd, but I proved you wrong. You're watching Captain Algebra.
You're watching Captain Algebra. Go to timeout.
Oh.
Hey everybody, Captain Algebra here, and it's time for my favorite video of the year when I talk about all the games I beat in the past year. So we're going to be talking about all the games I beat in 2022, but then there's going to be a little twist at the end when we talk about some analytics. So I got that idea from Retro Rivals, Scott and Jen. I thought that was a great idea. Now I don't have as many analytics as they did because I didn't plan on keeping track of it during the year, but we got a decent amount of statistics, and we'll definitely be adding to this more for next year. But let's get started. Let's just talk about all the games I beat this year, which this year, once again, I hit my goal of 100 games. We hit 107 this year. We're going to start with some consoles that I just beat one game for each. First one, we got Donkey Kong Country on the Game Boy Color. That was a pretty solid port. Then on the Nintendo DS, we got Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. So you're going to see that I was very interested in Metroidvanias this year, and I loved that game. Then on the 3DS, we got Kirby Triple Deluxe. I honestly don't remember anything about this game. I beat it pretty early in the year. I liked it because it's a Kirby game, but that's all I can give you right now. Then on the Wii, we beat Super Paper Mario. I finally beat this. I must have sat down and tried this game 3-4 times in the past, 10 years, and I just always stopped playing it. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, I just decided to do something else. And I finally stuck with it, and I love it. It might be my favorite Paper Mario game. I really like that it's action RPG versus turn-based, which is a huge plus for me. And then the last console we beat just one for, this is the Xbox 360. We've got The Walking Dead Season 1. Which is one of the Cartridge Club Game of the Month, I believe, for October, and I was also on the podcast. So super fun discussion with Church the Game Grinder, Jason from Corpus Load Gaming, and Chris Pico, the old ass retro gamer. That was a lot of fun. Next up, we got a couple consoles that we beat just 2 games for. First one on the N64, we've got Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Hey, did we do it? Heck yes! And Star Wars Battle for Naboo. There it is. Then on the PlayStation 1, we've got the original Tomb Raider, which was one of my backlog roulette games this year. And then Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, which I believe was also a backlog roulette game, which finally forced me to play it. And it was okay. I honestly am not a huge fan of any of the original 3 PS1 Resident Evil games. I got started with Resident Evil 4, and I just kind of like the games that came after 4 and after a lot more than these ones. So, kind of disappointed in it, but I'm glad I finally played it. And then the Super Nintendo. First up, we got Bill Lambier's Combat Basketball. 50 fucking 6 games of this.
There it is. End of season. Championship. 14. No, this is probably going to be it, isn't it?
Which honestly is not a bad game if you didn't have to play 50-some games to beat it. It's ridiculous because the game is so easy that you just get bored. Like when I first started playing, I was streaming this. I was trying to score as many points as possible. And by the end, I was just like, let's just get the games over with. Like, I'm done. And then we got Super Adventure Island 2.
I feel like this is a Power Ranger game where we're fighting one arena's monsters. There you go. Beat it again.
Love the Adventure Island series, so I was super excited to finally play this one. I like the original Super Adventure Island more than this one, but it's still a good game. All right, next up, for the arcade this year, I beat 3 games. First 2 I don't have here, but was at Midwest Gaming Classic. I believe it was Midwest Gaming Classic. Or was it Mo GameCon? I honestly don't remember. It was at one of those 2. Anyways, this was with Robert from Gaming Off the Grid, and we beat The Punisher. Super fun game. And then at Mo GameCon, this one I know for sure, with Wes from Gaming Off the Grid and Tom from Do You Nerd, we beat Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. A lot of fun. And then the third arcade game I beat was on the Cowabunga Collection, and that was Turtles in Time. I had never played the Turtles in Time arcade game, and it was a lot of fun. Super Nintendo version is way better, but it was still good to play. Then we got a couple consoles we beat 4 games for. First, the PlayStation 2. We've got Leisure Suit Larry, Magna Cum Laude, which is hilarious. This game is great. I had so much fun with it. But yeah, there's no way I could have streamed this game. But man, the conversations they have are hilarious. We got Neo Contra.
Did we beat it? No, it's got to be more, right? Alright, mission complete.
Glad I finally played this game. This game is an amazing Contra game. We got Star Wars Battlefront.
Not seeing anything. There you go. Victory!
Another one of my backlog roulette games. Finally sat down to play this after all these years, and I loved it. And then the PS2 game I was most excited to finally beat, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. So Grand Theft Auto Vice City was one of the game of the months for Cartridge Club, and I hosted that podcast, and we were talking a lot about the other games in the series, and I was like, man, I really need to go back and finish San Andreas. I gave up because of the supply lines mission. I kept losing when I first got this game back when it came out on release day. That pissed me off. I gave up. Came back maybe 5 years ago now. Got to that part. Still couldn't beat it after a few tries. Got super pissed off, so I put it away. And I was finally like, no, I'm going to do it. And you know what? 2 tries. That's all it took me, was to finally get past it. And it was close. I was watching my fuel gauge. I destroyed everybody, and I was flying back to the roof. And I swear it was on empty, but I barely made it. But it is a good game. Vice City is way better in my opinion, just because of the atmosphere and the music and stuff. But San Andreas is still pretty good. And then on the GameCube, we also beat 4 games. First one, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader.
Stars. Come on, baby. Yeah! I think that is game. Holy shit.
Monster House, and Super Mario Sunshine. So everyone gives this game crap, but I had to see it for myself. And yeah, it's better than Super Mario 64. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that, but it's just the truth. Now, I have 100%ed Mario 64. I did not 100% this. I did not want to deal with the blue coins. That just didn't seem that fun. So yeah, there's parts of this that are more annoying than Super Mario 64, but overall as a game, I love this, and I love the flood mechanic. And let's be honest, that Plinko mission to get the shine or whatever was not that bad. Next up, we're going to talk about the Game Boy, where I beat 6 games. I love the Game Boy. First one I beat on the Castlevania collection on the PS4, and that is Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge. You know, everyone says that one's way better than Castlevania Adventure, but they play pretty similarly to me. Everyone says Castlevania Adventure's slow. I thought this one was just as slow, but it was a good game. It was fun. Then we've got Mortal Kombat 2.
There it is. Game over. Like I said yesterday when I beat this, like I hit once.
God, I hate fighting games. But that one's pretty easy. WWF Raw.
That should hopefully be enough. There we go. WWF Raw is finished.
WWF King of the Ring.
I can credit WWF Royal Rumble for Dreamcast for introducing me to Taz. Hey, we did it! We are the King of the Ring!
We've got Fortified Zone. And finally, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So nothing too amazing in that stack. Fortified Zone is definitely the best. But I just love the Game Boy and it doesn't get talked about enough. So glad to beat some games on that this year. All right, next up, we got two consoles that I beat 10 games for. We're going to start with the NES. We've got RBI Baseball 2. Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout. Double Dragon 3. Now this one gets a lot of crap, but it's a really good game. It's very cool. You got the different people you can play as, and they all have their moments in the game where you need them. I really like this one. 10-Yard Fight. Faxanadu. This was a community playthrough hosted by Megadan. This game was okay, but there are definitely some annoying parts, like when you use a key to go through a door. If you go back through the door, you need to use a key, like buy another key and use it. It's like once I open the door, it should be unlocked. So that was annoying. But one thing, this is not a confusing game at all. If you listen to the townspeople, they basically tell you everything you need to know. So definitely don't need a guide for this game. Then we got Adventure Island 4. Is that it? Let's go. This thanks to Eugene. He sent me this. Is it a repro? Yeah, repro, because this only came out on the Famicom. Did not come out in the NES here in the States. Great game. It's more of a Metroidvania than a typical Adventure Island game, but it is super fun. Batman Returns. Boom. Holy crap. That was closer than I wanted it to be. Got her done. Super Spike V-Ball. Kings of the Beach. Not really sure which one I like more. They were both really fun. And Gotcha. I was really into playing some light gun games at times during this year, and I finally wanted to use that CRT that Game Me Off the Grid gave me a couple years ago, and this is another decent LJN game. So, hey, there you go. Add it to the list. And next we're going to talk about PS5 that I beat 10 games for. First one was Astro's Playroom because it's a pack-in and everyone's got to play it. It's very cool. It's basically a love letter to Sony, and it shows you off all the cool things that the PS5 can do with its controller. Then we got Stray. I love cats, so I had to play this game, and it was a lot of fun. We have Horizon Forbidden West. I know this is the PS4 case, but I did upgrade it to the PS5. We got Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth. This was a really fun Metroidvania. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Now, I've only played this and the original Ratchet & Clank and then the 2016 remake, so I don't have a lot of experience with the series, but this by far is the best one. This game is awesome. The Quarry. Chorus, a super fun space shooter. The controls take some getting used to, but it's really good. And of course, I was going to play this. God of War Ragnarok, my game of the year. This game is amazing. I think I might like the first God of War 2018 a little bit more, but this was so cool to see the transformation of Kratos and just like how far he's come from God of War 1 on the PS2 to now. It's pretty amazing. Next up, we got the Sega Genesis, where I beat 11? Yes, 11 games for. First one we got is Chester Cheetah, Too Cool to Fool. So this was a game that I streamed a while back for Genesis A to Z, didn't beat it, and then I was watching a bunch of Megadan's old videos, and he ran through the Super Nintendo version. I'm like, you know what? I need to get back to this. It was okay. We've got NBA All-Star Challenge.
Nice block! Jordan wins! Alright, we're coming at the victory.
Not a good game, but it has a lot of variety. 3-point shootout, one-on-one, horse, dunk contest, I think, and 3-point shooting. Oh, and a free throw contest, so no dunk contest. So it was all right. We got NBA Action 94. I was streaming this, and I was having a lot of fun with it, so I was like, let's play a whole season. Ended up, I think I almost had the record. I think I went 73 and 9. No, I think I went 72 and 10. I think that's what I did. So it couldn't quite tie the Warriors record. We got Mystic Defender.
Alright, that part's not tough. Pretty easy pattern. She's naked. It is not safe. Everyone close your eyes.
MTV's Beavis and Butthead.
No help, though. Please pick up. Oh, sweet.
John Madden Football. Monopoly.
1,500. Come on, go ahead and mortgage all your stuff. I don't know. I don't know. You're done? Declare bankruptcy. We're gonna take a picture. Hold on, wait. Don't press it yet. I know. Press it yet. Take that picture. Okay, go ahead and press it.
Now, this was a fun one because I got my wife to stream it with me, and she's still mad that I beat her in this. Alicia Dragoon.
Is that it? Holy shit, I think we did it. Yeah!
So it's another backlog roulette game. I wanted to go back and finally beat it since I didn't beat it on stream when I streamed it for Genesis A to Z. This game is phenomenal. Rocket Knight Adventures, a game I had from childhood that I never actually beat, so I finally wanted to play it. That game's awesome. Mortal Kombat, another fighting game. I hate it. It sucks, but I beat it. And Revenge of Shinobi.
There it is! Done. Told you we're getting it done on Friday. Hell yeah.
Another Cartridge Club game of the month. This game was phenomenal. Now I got to play the other Shinobi games. All right, next up, we've got the GBA, which I beat 12 games for, which is very surprising. I usually don't play the Game Boy Advance too much. But first two were part of the Cartridge Club March Madness. It was Castlevania games, specifically the GBA ones. So I played Harmony of Dissonance and Aria of Sorrow, based from the Castlevania collection. Both fantastic games. And earlier in the year, I had actually already played Castlevania Circle of the Moon. Another great game. Then let's see what we got. We've got Spyro Orange and Crash Purple. I love Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, but those games suck. They are just terrible. Don't play them. We got Kirby, Nightmare in Dreamland. The Little Mermaid, Magic in the Two Kingdoms, another terrible game. Star Wars, The New Droid Army. Crash, The Huge Adventure, a much better Crash game on the GBA. Fantastic Four, Flame On. So I've had this for a while, but then I watched Square Pegs get this in one of his Video Games Monthly unboxings, and he talked about how fun it was. So I was like, man, I gotta go back and play this. Sure enough, it was a good game. Then we've got Donkey Kong Country 2, because I was on the Cartridge Club Game of the Month podcast for Donkey Kong Country 2, and I love the series, so I'm like, well, played it on Super Nintendo, let's see how the GBA version is. And it's good. There are some extra stuff. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but I do mention it in the podcast, so go listen to that. And then last Game Boy Advance game, we beat Super Mario World, Super Mario Advance 4. All right, we're down to the last two consoles. Next up, we've got the Switch, which I beat, let's see, 17 games for this year, which is surprising. I usually don't play my Switch too much. First, we got To the Moon, which is actually the last game I beat in 2022. Shantae, The Pirate's Curse, first Shantae game I've ever played. Fantastic. Cocomelon, play with JJ, play with my two kids. They absolutely loved it, so I loved it. For the Pigeon Dev games, I beat Explosive Jake and Bucket Knight. Both are okay. Neither are that great. I want to say Bucket Knight is much better than Explosive Jake. Metroid Dread, oh my god, this game is phenomenal. Second favorite after Metroid Fusion. I love this game. Play it. And the final boss is not as hard as people make it out to be. 99 Vitas, not that good of a beat 'em up. Battle Princess Madeline. Kirby and the Forgotten Land, another great Kirby game. Paper Mario, The Origami King. I loved this game, but it just seemed too long. Poi, Explorer Edition. This one's an okay 3D platformer. Cruisin' Blast. This was the first game I beat in 2022. I actually started playing it on New Year's Eve of 2021 with my wife, and I finished it a couple days later. Cathedral, a very good Metroidvania from Premium Edition Games. Gato Roboto. We talked about how much I love cats, right? With Stray. So this is a cat and a mech robot. Yeah, had to have it. Carrion, or Carry On, I don't know. Very fun Metroidvania where you get to play as the monster. A Robot Named Fight. And finally, Cursed Castilla. And finally, the console I beat the most games for in 2022, the PS4. Which comes as no surprise. I think I've been doing these videos for the past 4 years, and 3 out of 4 years, PS4 has been the one I play the most. Because I love it. Let's go through it. We've got Warlock's Tower. Caveman Warriors. House of Ashes. Not as good as like Until Dawn, Little Hope or of Man of Medan, but it's still really good. My Friend, Peppa Pig, another game I got to beat with my kids. Actually, I beat it with just my youngest, Emily. She was homesick one day, and so we played through it. Ratchet & Clank, the 2016 remake. This was another, Ratchet & Clank was a game of the month for the Cartridge Club, and I had already played through the PS2 version, so I wanted to try this one. This was very good. We got Wonder Boy, Asha in Monster World. This game was fun, and this one even comes with the Mega Drive version, where this originally was on. It did not come out in the States on the Genesis, so I do need to play the Mega Drive version, but this updated version was pretty good. And I played that because I played Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom. This game was phenomenal. Paw Patrol, Mighty Pup Save Adventure Bay.
Through that meteor. There we go. Hey, we did it!
This was a request to stream. I can't remember who requested it. Was it Peter Bateman or was it Bargain Bin Hobo? J-Chip maybe? I can't remember. But we beat it on stream. It was actually one of my most viewed streams of the year. It was crazy. Really? Paw Patrol? That was funny. We got Dodgeball Academia, which is an RPG game, but with dodgeball. So much better than a typical RPG. We got The Mummy Demastered, another fantastic Metroidvania. We got Wreckfest. This game was phenomenal. Duck Souls Plus. Then I've got Awesome P and Awesome P2. Sackboy, A Big Adventure. Knack 2. Resident Evil 3, the remake, much better than the original in my opinion. I know they took stuff out like the Clock Tower, but it's just a better game. I just like these modern Resident Evil games anyways, more than the originals. Bug Snacks, oh my god, this game's hilarious, and my kids love what I played. Every time they would ask me, you playing the bug game? You playing the bug game? They love seeing all the different bugs. It's pretty cool. Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga, the best Lego game of all time, the best Star Wars Lego game of all time, but holy crap is it long if you're gonna platinum it. I think it took me almost 100 hours to get everything. It's insane. Shadow of Mordor, probably one of my favorite games I played this year, and I really wish I would have played it earlier because it was so much fun. And finally, the last game, Kaze and the Wild Masks. This game is super cool. If you have not played it, I highly suggest it. It feels like a modern Donkey Kong Country game from the Super Nintendo. And not Donkey Kong Country Returns or Tropical Freeze, which are fine games, but they are nothing compared to the original trilogy. This game was so much fun. I liked it so much that I told Peter from Ways and Games to play it, and he loved it too. It is so much fun. I highly recommend it. So there you go. Those are all 107 games that I beat in 2022. Another great year for games. And now, let's look at those analytics. So the first thing we're going to look at is just this graph of the games I beat per month. You can see I always start off the year kind of slow. Summer goes up because, you know, I'm off because I'm a teacher. But then usually at the end of the year, I'm kind of like, I try to go all in and get a bunch of games so I can see how many I can actually beat. December was a little low for me, but man, October and November were huge. Ended up beating 8.92 games per month. I usually try for 10. That way I'll get to 120 games, but there are a couple months this year that I just did not play much. Then we've got 18 different consoles that I played on. Obviously PS4 and Switch were the most. And then we had a bunch with that one DS, 3DS, Wii, Game Boy Color, Xbox 360. Then you can see that on a pie chart as well. So the PS4 was 17.8%. And then you got a bunch that aren't labeled, like the games I beat 1 for, and I think that's it ends up being like 0.9%. So pretty solid there. And then finally, one thing I always like to look forward to is retro versus modern. So I do like both, but I do consider myself more of a retro gamer than a modern gamer, so I always have to check this out. Sure enough, retro wins out. So beat 61 retro games this year and 46 modern. So basically, the way I look at it, PS4, Switch, PS5, those are all modern consoles. Anything before it, PS3, Xbox 360, etc., I consider retro now. And so obviously, I have a lot more retro consoles that I can play. But so that speaks volumes, though, to the modern consoles, PS4, PS5, and Switch. That I still, out of those 3 consoles, I beat 46 games for them, which is pretty crazy. So there you go. Those are all the games I beat this year. Thanks again for Scott and Jen Retro Rivals for the idea to look at analytics. I'm going to add more for next year. I'm actually keeping track of how many hours I play each game. That'll be fun to look at. Maybe not so fun, especially if my wife watches, because she's going to be pretty mad with all the hours I put into video games. But thanks again for watching. This was a lot of fun. I love looking back at all the games I beat because, you know, I go back to like January and February of the year and I don't remember those games, you know, because it's been so long. And so it's always fun to look back at. And just as a quick reminder, you know, these are just games that I hadn't beaten before. Unless they're ports, like Donkey Kong Country 2, Super Mario World on the Game Boy Advance and stuff. Like if I run through Super C or Streets of Rage 2 or Grand Theft Auto Vice City, those are all games I've beaten in the past, so I don't include them in my total for the year because I just want to focus on the new games that I've beaten. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Share what games you've beaten if you haven't made a video. If you have made a video, post the link. I'd love to watch it. But I hope you guys have a great 2023. This is Captain Algebra, signing off.